Pause. Stillness arrives before the world begins to speak. This morning carries a rare alignment, and silence holds the message. Beneath the surface of routine, something subtle is moving, shaping direction and outcomes long before they appear in the physical world. This moment deserves attention, not noise. Today, focus turns inward, where true power gathers quietly. Certain mornings open unseen doors, and this one stands apart. Ancient understanding reveals that inner alignment always comes before external success. Those who recognize this moment gain an advantage that effort alone cannot provide. Within this message, clarity unfolds. You will learn why early listening reshapes the mind, how calm awareness prepares the ground for abundance, and why struggle often delays progress. Shaolin wisdom teaches that force creates resistance, while alignment creates flow. This principle has guided warriors, leaders, and seekers for centuries, yet remains largely overlooked in modern life. Staying until the end matters because understanding deepens in stages. First, the mind settles. Then, inner noise dissolves. Finally, a quiet truth emerges, one that transforms constant effort into steady progress. Missing any part weakens the lesson, while full attention allows it to take root. This morning invites release of tension carried for too long. Ambition softens without disappearing. Focus becomes sharp and calm. When the inner world finds order, the outer world responds naturally. Opportunities approach without force, and direction becomes clear. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow, a space dedicated to discipline, stillness, and inner mastery. Subscribe and continue this journey with us, where calm focus shapes balance, prosperity, and purpose. Morning carries a silence that the rest of the day cannot touch. Before voices rise and demands appear, the mind rests open, unguarded, and receptive. In these early hours, the subconscious listens more deeply than at any other time. Whatever enters now settles quietly and begins shaping the direction of the day. This is why mornings hold spiritual power. The mind has not yet armored itself with worry, comparison, or urgency. Thoughts move slowly. Awareness feels wide. In this state, beliefs form without resistance. Patterns take root effortlessly. The tone set here echoes forward into decisions, actions, and results. Ancient disciplines understood this well. Long before science spoke of brainwaves and habit formation, early practice was honored as sacred. The subconscious absorbs impressions most easily when the world is still. Calm inputs create calm responses. Ordered thoughts invite ordered outcomes. This is not mysticism. It is alignment. Abundance responds to the state of the mind, not the noise of effort. A restless beginning produces scattered momentum. A grounded beginning creates steady flow. When the morning opens with presence, the nervous system relaxes. From relaxation, clarity rises. From clarity, better choices emerge. In these early moments, identity is quietly rewritten, not through force, but through repetition. Listening gently reshapes the inner dialogue. Scarcity loses its grip. Patience strengthens. Confidence becomes quiet and stable rather than desperate. Many overlook this window because it feels small. Yet small doors often lead to the largest rooms. The first thoughts of the day become instructions the mind follows without question. Direction forms long before movement begins. This is how abundance starts. Not through chasing, but through alignment. Not through struggle, but through stillness. The morning does not rush. It invites. And those who meet it with awareness allow life to respond in kind. January 27th carries a quiet signal. Not superstition, not chance, but a moment where timing and intention meet. Certain dates act like markers, reminding the mind to pause, realign, and choose direction consciously. When awareness meets a specific moment, the subconscious responds with focus. This is how turning points are created, not by the calendar itself, but by the meaning placed upon it. Listening today activates receptivity rather than effort. The mind stops pushing and starts noticing. In this state, opportunity becomes visible. Abundance often arrives disguised as timing. A conversation happens at the right moment. A thought appears with unusual clarity. A decision feels calm instead of forced. These shifts seem small, yet they redirect the path quietly and permanently. True wealth responds to openness. Constant striving tightens the grip of scarcity. Calm listening loosens it. When attention rests instead of chasing, the nervous system relaxes. From that relaxation, intuition strengthens. Choices align naturally with long-term benefit rather than short-term relief. Scarcity dissolves without argument. No need for forced positivity. No need for convincing. Resistance fades when attention settles. The inner world reorganizes itself. Old patterns weaken. New expectations form gently, without pressure. Sound and focused words reshape internal structure. Repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds belief. Belief guides behavior. Behavior shapes results. This sequence unfolds quietly, often unnoticed, yet it governs every outcome. Success always begins internally. Order appears in thought before it appears in circumstance. Calm awareness precedes confident action. Trust forms before evidence arrives. Many breakthroughs come without drama, slipping into life so naturally they seem ordinary. This moment reminds those who feel delayed that timing is personal. Progress unfolds at its own pace. Pressure delays flow. Acceptance accelerates it. When today is allowed to be enough, momentum builds without strain. Nothing needs to be forced right now. Presence prepares the ground. Attention plants the seed. The rest unfolds with patience, precision, and quiet certainty. Stillness teaches a lesson that effort cannot. Constant motion convinces the mind that progress only comes through struggle. Yet many forms of wealth arrive when striving softens. Listening creates space. In that space, insight appears without force. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, and awareness sharpens. Receptivity allows signals that were always present to finally be noticed. Guidance rises quietly, often as a simple knowing rather than a command. Action driven by tension scatters energy. Action guided by listening concentrates it. When attention rests, priorities reorder themselves naturally. The unnecessary falls away. The essential becomes obvious. This is why moments of quiet often precede the most accurate decisions. The mind stops reacting and starts responding. Receptivity invites abundance because it removes resistance. Wealth does not respond well to desperation. It responds to clarity. Calm listening dissolves the urgency that blocks flow. As inner pressure releases, timing improves. Steps taken afterward require less effort and produce greater impact. Many believe silence equals inaction. In truth, silence is preparation. Listening aligns thought, emotion, and intention. Once aligned, movement becomes efficient. Fewer mistakes, fewer detours. Energy moves in one direction instead of many. Opportunities reveal themselves when awareness widens. Patterns become visible. Connections form naturally. The right moment announces itself without confusion. This state cannot be forced. It must be allowed. Listening also reshapes identity. The inner voice softens. Self-doubt loses volume. Confidence becomes steady rather than loud. This internal shift changes posture, tone, and presence. Others respond differently. Circumstances adjust. Those who feel behind often believe they need to push harder. Yet pushing harder tightens the very knots that delay progress. Listening loosens them. The path clears quietly. This approach does not reject effort. It refines it. Effort follows alignment, not the other way around. When awareness leads, action follows with precision. Progress feels calm. Direction feels certain. Momentum builds without exhaustion. Calm changes the speed of life in unexpected ways. When the mind slows, perception sharpens. Details once overlooked become clear. Opportunities that were always present step into view. Chasing creates noise. Calm creates signal. In a quiet mind, the right moment announces itself without confusion or urgency. Abundance does not move toward tension. Tension repels. A rushed inner state sends a message of lack, and lack multiplies itself. Calm communicates trust. Trust opens pathways that effort alone cannot unlock. This is why some succeed with ease, while others struggle with exhaustion. The difference is not intelligence or desire, but internal tempo. When the mind settles, choices improve, reactions soften into responses, impulses fade, discernment strengthens, the nervous system shifts out of survival mode and into clarity. From clarity, timing becomes precise. Steps land correctly, results arrive faster, even though movement feels slower. Chasing scatters focus. Calm gathers it. Energy flows in one direction instead of many. This concentration amplifies impact. Small actions begin to produce disproportionate results. Less input creates more output. This is not coincidence. It is alignment. Calm also changes how others respond. Presence becomes grounded. Words carry weight. Decisions feel reliable. Trust builds without effort. Opportunities often arrive through people, conversations, and moments of recognition. These rarely appear in a frantic state. They appear when attention is steady and receptive. Scarcity thrives on speed. It urges immediate action, constant comparison, endless effort. Calm dissolves this illusion. With patience, perspective widens. Long-term benefit becomes visible. Short-term pressure loses authority. When the chase stops, the body relaxes. Breathing deepens. Posture opens. This physical shift signals safety to the mind. In safety, creativity awakens. Solutions emerge that force could never produce. Progress does not slow in calm. It accelerates quietly. Paths shorten. Detours disappear. Movement becomes direct. This is how abundance responds, not to desperation, but to steadiness, not to force, but to inner order. Scarcity loosens its grip when resistance fades. It does not require constant affirmation or forced optimism. Forcing belief creates tension, and tension keeps the mind locked in struggle. Release begins the moment pressure softens. The need to convince disappears. Awareness replaces effort. The mind resists when it feels unsafe. Worry tightens thought patterns. Fear narrows perception. Yet resistance weakens naturally in stillness. No argument is needed. No proof is required. The nervous system settles, and old beliefs lose energy simply by not being fed. Abundance does not ask for blind faith. It responds to openness. When resistance drops, the mind becomes flexible. New ideas are considered. Different outcomes feel possible. This subtle shift changes behavior quietly, without confrontation. Actions begin to align with opportunity instead of avoidance. Forcing positivity often masks exhaustion. Pretending creates inner conflict. Calm acceptance resolves it. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means releasing the fight against the present moment. In that release, power returns. Scarcity survives on repetition. The same thoughts replay, reinforcing limitation. Listening interrupts this loop. Silence creates space between thoughts. In that space, choice appears. One thought does not need to follow another. Direction can change without struggle. Resistance also appears as urgency. The need for immediate results, the pressure to fix everything now. When urgency dissolves, clarity rises. Clear minds make fewer mistakes. Fewer mistakes shorten the path forward. Letting go feels unfamiliar at first. Control seems protective, yet control often blocks flow. Releasing it allows movement. Not reckless movement, but guided movement. When resistance stops, trust grows naturally. Not because circumstances suddenly change, but because perception does. Possibility expands. Confidence stabilizes. The inner voice becomes supportive instead of critical. This shift does not require belief. It requires allowance. Stop pushing against the current. Stop proving worth. Rest attention where it is. From that resting place, the mind reorganizes itself. Scarcity fades quietly, replaced by steady openness. Sound enters the mind without resistance. Unlike effort or analysis, it bypasses defense and settles directly into the inner world. This is why words heard in calm moments shape thought patterns more deeply than those read in haste. Listening gently allows meaning to sink beneath awareness, where habits are formed and decisions are prepared long before action begins. Repetition strengthens familiarity. Familiarity becomes belief. Belief influences behavior quietly. This process unfolds constantly, whether noticed or not. The inner voice is trained through what it consumes. Gentle sound softens harsh dialogue. Steady rhythm slows racing thought. Over time, the mind begins to mirror what it receives. Listening also changes emotional tone. Anxiety loses momentum. Confidence stabilizes. The body responds first, relaxing muscles and deepening breath. From the body, the shift moves upward into thought. Calm thoughts produce patient actions. Patient actions create consistent outcomes. Words carry direction. Even simple phrases guide attention. They highlight certain possibilities while dimming others. When guidance is calm and clear, decision-making becomes precise. Choices feel less reactive. Regret decreases. Alignment increases. Habits form not through discipline alone, but through environment. Sound is part of that environment. The mind learns through exposure. Quiet guidance, repeated over time, becomes internal instruction. Eventually, it no longer feels external. It becomes instinct. Listening also restores trust in intuition. When noise fades, subtle signals become noticeable. A pause before speaking, a hesitation before acting, a sense of timing. These signals prevent unnecessary struggle and guide movement toward favorable conditions. Many underestimate this influence because it feels passive. Yet passivity here is deceptive. The inner world is active, organizing itself based on input. Sound becomes structure. Words become pathways. When listening becomes intentional, the inner voice changes character. It grows supportive, steady, clear. From this foundation, habits shift naturally. Decisions align without force. Life responds to this internal order with coherence and flow. True success begins quietly, within the mind, long before it appears in circumstance. The outer world reflects the inner world. When thoughts are scattered, actions feel heavy, and outcomes seem unpredictable. When thoughts are clear, focus becomes effortless, and results appear with surprising ease. Inner order is the unseen foundation of every achievement. The mind acts like a blueprint. Every decision, habit, and pattern emerges from this unseen architecture. If the blueprint is chaotic, the building wavers. If the blueprint is precise, the structure stands strong. Calm attention, repeated practice, and intentional listening shape this inner framework. It organizes energy, clarifies priorities, and aligns desire with action. Discipline in the inner world transforms intention into reality. Small, steady adjustments create momentum. Doubt diminishes when internal structure strengthens. Confidence grows quietly, without arrogance or show. This quiet confidence guides choices, influences behavior, and attracts opportunities. People and circumstances naturally respond to clarity and steadiness. External success often appears dramatic, but it is preceded by countless unseen shifts. Patience is part of this process. What seems like delay is often internal preparation. Decisions that once felt uncertain now arise from intuition refined through inner order. Timing improves. Mistakes decrease. Flow replaces struggle. Inner order also governs emotional response. Calm thoughts produce calm actions. Panic or frustration rarely yields results. A mind trained in quiet awareness evaluates situations without distortion. Clarity guides action. Energy is conserved, and direction becomes precise. Those who understand this principle work differently. They move less, think more deeply, and act at the right moment. Effort becomes efficient rather than exhausting. Energy flows directly toward outcomes instead of scattering across distractions. Every external accomplishment, every measure of wealth, recognition, or achievement first takes root internally. Thoughts, habits, and perception align before action is required. Success, therefore, is never accidental. It is the natural consequence of inner preparation, attention, and clarity. Breakthroughs often arrive without fanfare. They appear quietly, almost imperceptibly, in moments when the mind is calm and receptive. The path forward may remain unseen, yet every step taken in trust builds the foundation for what is about to unfold. Waiting does not mean stagnation. It means preparing without forcing, aligning without pushing, and believing without demanding proof. Trust is the bridge between the visible and the invisible. Many feel compelled to see results before moving forward, yet progress rarely obeys impatience. Opportunities often emerge in forms that feel ordinary or even unexpected, and only those who maintain faith recognize their significance. What appears small at first can transform into life-altering momentum. Faith does not require certainty, it requires presence. The mind learns to act with confidence, even when outcomes remain hidden. This subtle form of trust reshapes perception. Obstacles lose power, fears soften, and clarity emerges. The nervous system responds to trust by slowing down, allowing intuition to speak more clearly. Decisions made from this space carry weight and direction. Most breakthroughs are missed because they do not arrive dramatically. They slip past hurried minds, overlooked in the rush to control, analyze, or push. Quiet minds, however, notice patterns, sense timing, and recognize alignment. These individuals step forward at the right moment, not sooner, not later, and reap the full benefit of their preparation. Trust also strengthens resilience. When the unseen unfolds, resistance becomes unnecessary. The mind no longer fights timing or circumstance. Instead, it flows with natural currents, allowing unseen forces to guide action. This approach reduces wasted energy, sharpens focus, and accelerates outcomes without struggle. Patience becomes an ally. Calm expectation replaces anxiety. The invisible becomes present through action guided by insight rather than compulsion. Life responds to this trust, opening doors, arranging circumstances, and revealing pathways that were always possible but hidden from hurried eyes. In this quiet surrender, progress arrives effortlessly, shaping destiny in ways the mind alone could not engineer. Timing is personal, not measured by clocks or comparisons. You are not behind, no matter what the world suggests. Life unfolds according to its own rhythm, and each step you take arrives exactly when it is meant to. Feeling late is often a reflection of fear, not reality. The mind measures progress against others, forgetting that your path is unique, your timing precise. Financial worries, career concerns, and personal goals often create a sense of urgency. Yet urgency rarely produces clarity. It scatters focus and amplifies doubt. In truth, the universe does not rush, and abundance does not demand speed. Your journey unfolds in alignment with readiness, not with external pressure. The opportunities you seek are waiting, arranged to meet your preparedness, not your anxiety. Every moment of waiting holds preparation. Every pause shapes readiness. Knowledge, skill, intuition, and confidence grow quietly in the background. These are the unseen forces that determine long-term success far more than hurried effort or constant comparison. Trusting this process turns fear into patience and hesitation into steady movement. The sense of being late often masks unseen alignment. Doors may not have opened yet because the foundation was still forming. Connections, resources, and clarity must converge before breakthroughs arrive. When the timing is right, progress accelerates naturally, and what once seemed delayed unfolds effortlessly. Perspective changes everything. Life is not a race against others, but a journey in which every experience contributes to growth. Setbacks are not failures. They are signals, adjustments, and preparations for what comes next. Your timing is exact, even if it feels slow. Step forward without doubt. Each decision, each effort arrives when the inner world is ready to support it. The sense of lack or lateness dissolves in presence. Peace becomes the guide. From this space, opportunities, wealth, and success align with precision. You are not late, you are precisely on time, and everything you need is unfolding around you quietly, steadily, and perfectly. Let today be enough. Release the weight of what has not yet arrived, and allow the present moment to carry you forward. Detachment does not mean giving up, it means trusting that life, when met with calm awareness, will arrange itself perfectly. When the mind rests, abundance flows naturally, and opportunities appear without strain. Letting go of the need to control every outcome creates space for miracles to enter quietly, shaping your path with effortless grace. Carry this truth with you beyond this morning. Patience, presence, and inner order are the forces that guide wealth, success, and fulfillment. Every small step, every moment of calm contributes to a life of alignment and flow. Allow the unseen to work on your behalf, and trust that your timing is exact. If this message reached you today, show your presence by liking this video and subscribing to Shaolin Divine Flow. Share this insight with others who are seeking calm, clarity, and abundance, so the energy of awareness continues to expand. Step forward gently with faith in the unseen and let life respond. Today is enough. You are enough, and every moment from here carries the promise of alignment, prosperity, and quiet power, revealing that the greatest victories often begin within before they shine outward.